Okay, let's take a look at what the trends are when it comes to the auto space. Hormazd Sorabjee also joining us this morning. Hormazd, great to have you with us. We're tracking, of course, the latest monthly numbers, but also trying to get a sense on the demand picture. We've got fuel prices on one hand, we've got impending restrictions on the other hand. Have we already, seen the best of that pent-up demand, or do you feel that we're going to continue to see momentum ahead of this?
I think, there are a couple of issues. One is I don't think we've seen the full extent of the demand because clearly there are huge supply issues still, with especially in the four-wheeler sector, the whole semiconductor issue. That really is a big issue. It's not going to go away soon. I think, again, with fuel prices, definitely that is going to have some impact, especially on the two-wheeler sector. So I think while it's been a good run, and quite frankly, the last 12 months since a zero number in April, it's kind of defied all expectations. The demand is still there. People still want to, have personal mobility, and perhaps now more so when the pandemic kind of is coming back to bite you with a strong second wave. So I don't think it's going to fall off a cliff, but I don't think it's going to be zooming the way it did either, just as we were unlocking in the last couple of months.
Okay, what about on prices, Hormazd? Do you see further hikes? We've already seen Maruti, Hero. We're going to continue to see those raw materials get costlier going forward from here. What do you see happening on that front and the kind of impact that'll have?
I think definitely, car prices are definitely going to be moving up. And I think, for all the reasons you've said, material costs are going up, logistics costs are going up. I mean, even for companies importing or even CKD operations, just getting containers is becoming more and more of a challenge. So I think, the cost pressures are definitely there. And I think also the fact that, manufacturers are unable to produce in the volume that they want. There's still a lot of idle capacity lying around. I think all these issues are going to have an impact on costs. And I think at some point, the manufacturer is going to just have to pass it on to the consumer.
Hormuzd, what is in store for 2021? Last year was about confusion, then it was about pent-up demand and few model launches. What do you think would be the differentiated strategy for auto companies this year? Could they go on the whole approach of new launches? Could they go on the whole pitch of keeping prices under control because what's happening in commodity prices? What will be the differentiating factor for this year?
I think, what we're going to see is, I think we're going to see the spillover one of the supply constraints carrying forward for the next couple of months. I think what that means is certain capacity or certain volume is already accounted for because clearly the demand is still outstripping, the supply that there is. So in that sense, you've got a very taut pipeline. You won't see the rampant discounting which there was. I mean, today the question is not how much discount can I get, but how soon can I get my vehicle. Everyone, there are definitely on fast selling models a huge waiting period still, and that's not going to come down in a hurry. So inventories will be at an all-time low. I think dealer viability will be much stronger. So in that sense, there's a bit of a silver lining there. That whole kind of demand supply side is going to be cleaned up, and the whole pipeline is going to be a lot shorter. But I think for going forward, the number of launches that there are, I don't see it happening with the pace and intensity of a normal year. Obviously, a lot of programs have been delayed. Companies are also a little cautious on putting their foot, investing wholeheartedly. And the net result of that is I don't see the overall industry growing rapidly or jumping into a huge double-digit growth or getting back to the heydays of what it was, which was actually before 2019. At that point, we started seeing things going down. New launches are there. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see the strong players They're going to get stronger, quite frankly, because they have got a strong model pipeline. And I'm talking about basically Maruti and the Koreans. I think these two are really going to turn out to be even stronger going forward. And other brands, other companies, I think they're going to be, I don't think we'll see them taking a slight pause before they commit to new models and more investments in India.
Can Tata Motors be the dark horse for this year? I've asked you this question 3 years ago. That time it was a maybe. Is that maybe a yes or still a maybe?
So I think with Tata Motors, what's happened is, quite frankly, this is the result of the last couple of years or last 4 or 5 years of all the products which were in the pipeline. Now they're firing on all cylinders. I mean, about 4 or 5 years ago or in the process then. Now we are seeing that. For me, the worry about Tata Motors is after the Hornbill, there's absolutely no new model planned. So even if today they sign it off, which is very unlikely, you're not going to see anything new from them for the next 3 to 4 years. What you will see is facelifts and more facelifts. Obviously, the company has done a stellar job, this last year. In fact, it's been the turnaround of the industry. No two ways about that. Their growth has been absolutely staggering. But I think that growth has come from, a very strong leadership. I would really like to credit this to Shailesh Chandra, who took over the PV division and really turned things around in 1 year by just doing the obvious stuff, which is motivating the dealers, making sure that they were profitable, sometimes even spreading out the launches. So, the resource required either from the dealer side or the management side isn't stretched on multiple launches. So they've done all that, and the products have come of age. In fact, I think the Tata products for the first time have come of age. They are actually very, very good products. But going forward, there's no real new model pipeline. There are big question marks on powertrain also. The company doesn't have its own diesel. They're weak on petrol engines. So big gaps over there. So, while it's great and, actually they've been a real miraculous turnaround, I think I would proceed with caution. They need to be doing a lot more. They need to be investing a lot more because this has really become a very, very high investment game with all the multiple technologies OEMs now have to invest in. And I think that investment I see, coming in big from companies like Maruti. They will continue to invest. And now with Suzuki, Toyota being a part of that, they'll get even stronger. And of course, the Koreans, which are just incredibly aggressive in this market. You've seen Volkswagen also committing with $1 billion. But, other than that, Renault, Nissan, all the earlier guys which had come in with force, they've kind of, there's nothing from them in the next couple of years. So I think what we're going to see is, as I said, the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker.
So who would you say, Hormazd, is best positioned within the passenger vehicle market? And would it continue to be a tough fight between a Hyundai and a Maruti?
Well, I think definitely Maruti, is got a lot of competition right now. And Maruti have certain gaps as well. I mean, whatever they say, losing out on diesel, they've definitely lost a lot of volume because, while everyone is predicting doom and gloom for diesel technology in India. That's what the country runs on. And I think now with the high fuel prices, it's the inherent efficiency of diesel, which, it would play to its strengths. And but I think they're coming back with diesel next year. I think, I think Maruti is one company you just cannot discount. And now with Toyota coming into the fray with more models, they're just going to get even stronger. I mean, don't forget, Osamu Suzuki stepped down. That's created a lot of kind of, let's say, the power dynamics at the top. You are going to be seeing more of Toyota kind of, taking charge of things with such a strong, powerful leader, kind of now hanging up his boots finally at age 91. So that's inevitable. Koreans also, I think they're superly well placed because you've got both Kia and Hyundai part of the same group. Of course, they fight like cats like dogs above them. So they're going to be putting the biggest, pressure on Maruti. The other factor which, which is always there is the China factor. The Chinese, they're the other ones that can invest a lot. But of course, given the current situation, that's all put on hold. But they are all waiting at the ramparts. The minute things are okay, if relations become good, they'll be coming in with all guns blazing with a lot of investment as well. So, but I think other than that, I don't see too many players. I mean, I have to say I'm quite hopeful on Mahindra. They've got a good product pipeline. Obviously, the company's had serious issues in terms of production. But I think starting with the Thar, which has really been a game-changing product, the new XUV 500, the new Scorpio, they've also got a product pipeline going forward. So just to see which companies have got products for the next couple of years, those are the ones to watch out for.
Sure. There is a lot of talk around EVs, Hormazd, and we also have had many interactions on the same. Just wanted to understand how ready are Indian players when it comes to EVs, because just on the sidelines of our very own event, the India Economic Conclave, you had Maruti stating that they've been very cautious. There were other players who sounded way more upbeat. Just practically on ground, since you've been one of the first to even test drive an EV all the way from Mahabaleshwar and back. How ready is the infrastructure for EV right now when it comes to the domestic players? And yes, got stuck as well. I remember that.
Well, look, I'll be honest. I think EVs are basically for rich people who don't drive very far. That's basically what it is right now. Yes, it will change. I'm very skeptical on this whole EV thing. Not for anything, because I'm just looking at what consumers want right now. I mean, they're not ready for EVs because it is very expensive, and we are a very, very cost sensitive and price sensitive market. I mean, I don't think there's any market in the world where the action is so skewed towards the low end or the budget end. So, it's the whole dynamics of it, the whole structure of the market, which will make it very, very difficult for EVs. Yes, people will, eventually go towards EVs, but I think it's going to be a slow transition. I mean, we've got into a race which I think we can't win at all, because, we just don't have the scale, we don't have the consumer demand and all that. If you don't have the volume that comes out of it, you're not going to be able to make the investment. So we need to be investing in battery plants. We need to be investing in a lot more to locally produce it to really make EVs viable. So it all looks great. It's great to talk about it at IEC. It's great to have EVs at exhibitions and all that. So it is quite slow. Now, one can say that the EV growth has, grown dramatically, but, it's off a very small base. And I'm quite skeptical. I still think, for us, a very efficient IC engine still has a lot of legs. Of course, there's this whole thing on, we've signed up, there's the Paris Accord. Are we going to be wanting to be as carbon neutral as a lot of other countries? Are we committing to that? These are different factors. Of course, there's the dependency on oil, which, is a big concern. But I still think, at the end of the day, it's the consumer who decides. And I think right now, the consumer, I don't see them embracing EVs in a big way. And I don't think that's going to happen for a long time.
Fair point. Any new interesting car that you test drove that our viewers must know about?
Oh, well, I think, to be honest, I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of new EVs that are coming out because, I enjoy driving them. I'm looking at the new Audi e-tron, which is going to be coming out next month. That's going to be quite interesting. And for me, on a personal note, the new BMW M340i, which is possibly the best performance car for the money. That's something which I really, really enjoyed. Of course, very, very niche. And again, we had the Renault Kiger at the low end, very well put together car. But so I think, there's been a lot, Vaishak. There's too much happening right now. Constantly something every day.
Moment in Motown. Great to have you on the show, Hormazd. Good speaking with you as always. We're going to take a very quick break, but come right back. We've got lots more lined up. We're still holding on to the gains for the markets, about 85 points higher, and good breadth as well so far.